It might be Paul Thomas Anderson's most action-packed film to date, but that doesn't mean that he's at all interested in the action. Rather, PTA is interested in the characters within the action. He's not interested in the scope and scale of a grand car chase set piece, but in the suspense that quite literally rises and falls before it collides at its peak. One battle after another is Paul Thomas Anderson's life work, and 20 years spent crafting the script based on the 1990 novel Vineland by Thomas Pynchon. I can't speak on the accuracy of the book, nor should one expect too much similarity given the 35-year-old difference between source material and adaptation. But what one can expect is one of the best films of the year. The film opens with Leonardo DiCaprio's Pat Calhoun, the Rocket Man, at the peak of both his activity within a revolutionary group known as the French 75, and his love affair with Teyana Taylor's Perfidia Beverly Hills. After freeing immigrants from a detention center in California, Perfidia becomes the obsession of the commanding officer Colonel Stephen Lockjaw, played masterfully by Penn. Using Calhoun's bomb crafting skills, the revolutionaries carry out bombings on political offices, banks, and power grids. Lockjaw's fascination with Perfidia has resulted in him following her every movement, not only showcasing to him her talents and her passion, but also her relationship with DiCaprio's Calhoun. In exchange for her freedom after catching her in the act of planting a bomb, Lockjaw and Perfidia spend a night together. The film immediately sets up our conflict, with Perfidia pregnant in the aftermath. Calhoun expresses concern over her lack of attitude change despite their baby daughter, before she eventually leaves the pair to continue her activities as a revolutionary. A botched robbery and the murder of a bank guard cause a breakdown in the entire French 75 chain. Caught, Perfidia rats on her co-conspirators with a good word from Lockjaw before she flees from witness protection to Mexico. Pat Calhoun becomes Bob Ferguson, his daughter Charlene becomes Willa Ferguson. In a desperate attempt, the newfound Bob takes his baby daughter to the sanctuary city of Backton Cross. After the passage of 16 years, Bob has grown paranoid and burned out, attempting to control every aspect that he can of his daughter's life while using drugs and alcohol as a means to numb himself. Willa, meanwhile, is free-spirited and rebellious. There's a beautiful scene that perfectly encapsulates this relationship when Willa is badgering Bob about his whereabouts the night before and how he got home, as if she's the parent scolding the child and not the other way around. Without getting too much further into the plot, Penn's Lockjaw becomes desperate to find Bob and Willa, and under the guise of a drug enforcement operation, he turns the town of Backton Cross upside down. The rest of the film follows Bob trying to rescue his daughter, whose independence is put to the ultimate test. DiCaprio is extremely endearing as this bumbling pothead father, falling 20 feet off of buildings and jumping from moving cars, all in an effort of saving his daughter. There is such a lighthearted realism to every moment and a subtle and realistic comedic edge to everything he says. His feud with the revolutionary hotline is a great recurring gag throughout the film. But he is raw and he is real. You can feel his desperation, and the movie jerks him around into various pitfalls. He never gives up though, and that speaks volumes to the character. You can't help but fall in love with him because of his dedication and drive. His actions are always driven from a place that you can connect with, and with DiCaprio's portrayal, you only wish for more runtime with him. Benicio del Toro is Sensei Sergio St. Carlos, and while his time in the film is short, he leaves a lasting impact and is a great scene partner for DiCaprio's Bob to play off of, making a great pair that feel like the stars of some buddy cop action movie waiting to happen. His character is not complex, but enough character movement woven throughout his screen time really allows him to connect with the audience on who this man is and what drives him. Chase Infiniti stars in her first movie after a main role in 2024's presumed innocent television series, and she feels like a natural, able to hang in emotional and exhausting acting scenes with Oscar winners alike. She feels like the next big thing waiting to happen, and in many instances she is the heart of this movie. Enough cannot be said about how brilliant she is. That being said, it's Penn who feels like he steals the show. Stephen Lockjaw rarely shows his emotions. Excusing the outstanding fit of rage or lust, he is stoic and unmoved. Outside of a tick that gives Lockjaw's true feelings away, he is cold, more machine than man. Paul Thomas Anderson and Penn collaborate to make an all-too-real antagonist who doesn't feel like a cartoon knockoff or something fabricated. One battle after another is really a balancing act. As a social commentary and a political satire, it never feels too much of a critique to forget its heart, that being the father and daughter relationship. It feels like an event, and it lets you exist within it all at your own speed, never rushing to get a point across, introduce a character, or reveal relationship dynamics. The climax alone is worth the price of admission, with camera movements that I can't recall ever seeing before, so expertly toying with your emotions in an unforgiving up and down fashion, the pit of your stomach acting as a yo-yo, as if they strapped you into a roller coaster. Music plays and plays, making you release a breath you hadn't realized you held in the first place. Suspense is the word of the day with Paul Thomas Anderson and one battle after another. Even when you think you're safe and that you can take a breath, the movie holds, forcing you to scoot that much closer to the edge of your seat. There's so much life in this movie and so much heart. DiCaprio and Infiniti are perfect as this father and daughter duo that are so filled with love and yet at different ends of the spectrum. Bob Ferguson having already lived his life and therefore expecting his daughter to not experience it for herself. His protectiveness is endearing, and one battle after another is fantastic.